A.J. Brown, and hey, look, we've been here. We've done that. He's been frustrated in the past. He talked about his frustrations. He posted a tweet after one of the games that the Eagles won earlier this year. I think it was the Bucs game, not the Rams game. Because the Rams game, there was so much of that afterglow of how crazy it was they won. I think it was after the Bucs game. But he posted the tweet with the verse from the Bible that caused everyone to think something's going on. And then that became the talking point in the days after that, and he explained his frustrations. And then it kind of quieted down. He had a big game against the Minnesota Vikings with a couple of touchdowns, 100-plus receiving yards. He was injured for the game against the Giants when the Eagles flipped more to Saquon Barkley, not their two great receivers, A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith. And then when A.J. Brown was back for Monday night's game against the Packers, he was targeted three times before that 50-50 ball they threw to him at the end for 13 yards. The lowest he'd been targeted since week one, when he only got one target. And it wasn't a problem then because it's just week one. Let's see how it goes from there. It was the Buccaneers game because he was targeted 9 times, but he only caught the ball twice. And there's this lingering question of whether or not there's an issue between him and quarterback Jalen Hurts. Last year, Brandon Graham, who's now back with the team, remember he blurted out that there's something personal between the two of them, and then he was given a mop and a bucket by the team's PR staff, presumably, and instructed to go clean up his mess, and he tried to, but nobody bought it. They've done a great job of hiding whatever the truth is. And I think they would have had opportunities to trade him. They tried, I believe. And it's so funny that people just accept at face value the stuff that teams push to reporters, and they don't apply any critical thinking to it. And everything that you need was in the Schefter story, which I think, and I'm going to get, I don't care. I always say I'm going to get myself in trouble, and then I go ahead and do it. So I don't know why I even bother with the preface. It felt to me like somebody with the Eagles, maybe Howie Roseman, picked up the phone and asked for a favor. Can you put out this idea that we're not expected to trade A.J. Brown? But you can make the point, and you should make the point, that if somebody were to make us an offer we can't refuse, we would consider it, and we'll consider all offers. There was never a vibe of, there's no way we're trading this guy. This isn't a guy you trade. The way Howie Roseman explained it on the Tuesday of the trade deadline, when the window closed without a trade being done. It wasn't, I remember sitting here and saying, or sitting downstairs or wherever I was that day, and saying, take out A.J. Brown and put in Patrick Mahomes, and just ask yourself how ridiculous that explanation would sound if Brett Veach or Andy Reid were giving it. They were open for business. They just didn't want to create the impression they were shopping him because they're dealing with a very delicate situation, because you never know when he's going to pop off. And that brings us to Tuesday night. He was on a Twitch stream, whatever that is, with Janky Rondo. And he made some comments. One was, if I'm on your fantasy team, get rid of me. And he said a few other things as well. And look, he was just frustrated. But that became a talking point. And what happened was, and here's the chronology. That happens Tuesday night. It creates a stir. Nick Sirianni, the head coach, is available. Earlier on Wednesday, he's asked about it. And then A.J. Brown was available in the locker room, and he was asked about it as well. So let's start with morning after Twitch stream. Morning after, A.J. Brown says, if I'm on your fantasy team, get rid of me. Here's Nick Sirianni being asked about the latest remarks from A.J. Brown, reflecting his frustration with the amount of times he is or isn't getting the football.
When you say it was kind of business as usual with AJ, I mean, his latest comments, made it seem like it's not business as usual. Like, how do you kind of reconcile that with him?
Yeah, guys, I'm close to being done answering these questions with this. Like, he's working hard, and he is a big part of this game plan, and it'll be a big part of the game plan going forward. And he's working like crazy when he's here, and I'm excited to have him.
Nick, can I speak to you, countryman to countryman? It doesn't matter if you're close to being done. answering the questions. They're going to keep asking the questions as long as A.J. Brown is saying things that provide the basis for the curiosity that the media, who is basically the liaison for the fans, and I know that in this world we live in, the fans are led to believe that the media is the enemy of the people and other such nonsense, but the media is there to ask the questions the fans would ask. And Eagles fans are as astute and knowledgeable about football as any in the league. They would want to know Nick Sirianni's reaction to the latest comments from A.J. Brown seeming to reflect his frustration. Because they had an opportunity to trade him. They had an opportunity to move on. And the offense worked well without him against the Giants. He missed the game with a hamstring injury. So it's a fair question. May not like it, and maybe he's just venting his own frustration. Maybe he's never going to go next question or on to Cincinnati or some other Bill Belichick bull crap. But, Nick, you don't get to choose the questions you're asked. Now, you get to choose whether or not you answer them, but if you choose that route, you're going to get the flack on the back end that goes with it, because there's an expectation of a certain degree of transparency when it comes to issues that are obvious to a football team. And this is an obvious issue now for the Philadelphia Eagles. So, far more willing to talk about the situation was A.J. Brown, and I listened to the full 8 minutes that were captured at his locker yesterday. I've got a link to it at PFT. I encourage you to listen to the whole thing because I think it gives you the full context and the understanding of what he's doing. I'm going to try to make sense of it for you here because I think I get where he's coming from, and I don't think it's fair to just take little snippets and focus only on those. With that said, here are a few little snippets that we're going to focus on. But again, I'll broaden the lens when we're done and share with you what I think A.J. Brown's perspective is. Here he is, and this came at the very end of the 8 minutes when he was asked by someone who I think wasn't paying attention early when he addressed his comments on the Twitch stream. Here he is again talking about what he had said on Tuesday night while he was hanging out with Janky Rondo.
Because after the game, I said all the right answers. I still made a story. You know, in that moment where I'm just talking to my friend, having fun with my friend, I'm not apologizing for that. Like I said, because if you have eyes, you can see that. And so, like, it's not that I was throwing anybody on the bus. I'm literally trying to laugh through this. This shit is tough. Like, but I'm trying to make fun of the situation and to try to get through it. So, I mean, you know, it is what it is.
I appreciate that explanation, and I get it. Now, it's not like somebody hacked into a private phone call. He knew that what he was doing was something that could be captured and replayed. But, hey, I'm just trying to have some fun here. I'm trying to, like, if you don't laugh, you'll cry. Like, I'm trying to deal with the frustrations I'm feeling. And, yeah, I said it, and I make no apologies for it because it's not like I said it with a megaphone in the middle of a football field. It's not like I said it in the locker room. It's not like I tweeted it. I was in a semi-private, informal setting, and I said what I said. And does it surprise anyone that I would feel that way? Anyone who has eyes can see it. So I'm with you. And remember, he did apologize for the storm of caca that emerged after his tweet that made it look like he wanted out of Philadelphia. He did apologize for that, even though I don't think he was as open as he could be about what it meant. It wasn't just some Bible quote of the day calendar. There was meaning to that, and it did create the impression he wanted to leave. But he apologized for it. He knew that it created a mess, an avoidable mess. There's no reason to apologize for what he said on Tuesday night. I'm with him 100% there. Hi, it's Mike Florio. Thanks for watching PFT on YouTube. Hit subscribe for the latest news and analysis from Pro Football Talk.